trust it and agree with it. I seem to be live. um, I would probably be a lot smoother and more polished and ramble less if I was AI, like so much of the crap on YouTube these days. Anyway, uh, we did a reading last week about Trump basically telling NATO and the EU to pound sand, which is a very good move because those fuckers are nuts. They're, yeah. Anyway, good riddance. And, you know, once they get rid of their ass clown car that's running the EU, we can maybe go help them out. But till then, there's not much point. But his part of this we didn't talk about was that he's going to focus on well, the whole. This isn't just Trump. I mean, it's a defense, uh, a DSS, a defense security statement, and it basically said that we're going to switch our focus from EU and NATO and the freaking Zionist banks that run the EU and NATO, and up until very recently the U.S. too, and we're going to focus on taking care of business at home, and make no mistake about it, we're all part of the Western Hemisphere, and I've been living in Latin America for almost 5 years. It's a beautiful place. It's a very, very fucked up place. It's seriously chaotic. Um, I, you know, it's my favorite place in the world with the best people I've ever met anywhere on earth. But it's probably got the shittiest governments, the most corrupt, incompetent, bungling governments of anywhere on earth. Um, with possibly the exception of that clown posse in Brussels right now. Uh, but like Mexico is probably the most beautiful country on earth. But they've also got they don't have a functioning government. I mean, the the uh, the difference between the cartels and the government in Mexico is that the cartels are more honest. The governments, they've got this dual government structure where the cartels run part of the government and the government runs the other. And which one is more corrupt is anybody's guess. I mean, the I've I've been robbed by Mexican police. I've never been robbed by Mexican people. I have friends that have had their boats. They've been in international waters. The Mexican Coast Guard has come out and told them to get into Mexican waters, ordered them to enter Mexican waters. And as soon as they got there, they got a $300 fine for being in Mexican waters without a cruising permit. I mean, uh, you go to places like uh, beautiful, beautiful part of Mexico, and it's very safe, very nice. And it's safe and nice because the cartels run it. And they have their families living there, so they kind of you go through a checkpoint when you go from Cancun to Merida, and it's the checkpoint is run by the cartels, and it's to keep violent gangsters out away from their families because they all have their families living in Merida. I mean, but it's not like the cartels are brilliant, wonderful organizations either. They're pretty awful. Um, I mean, there's places in Mexico where if you're a school teacher and you don't go work in the poppy fields for the cartels after you're done teaching, they'll kill you and kill your family. I mean, there's a lot of places. If you're a gringo, it's pretty safe. You're going to be very safe if you stay out of crime areas. You don't do business with cartel people, and you stay away from government and police at the same time. But the government's probably on shakier ground than the than the cartels. And the reason Victoria and I never considered settling in Mexico, even though it's possibly our favorite place on earth, is because we're afraid that when the governments collapse, which they're going to collapse, I mean, they're just not functional. The cartels are so organized and so well equipped that the cartels will rise up and fill the vacuum, and that's not going to be an improvement. Let's just say that. Um, so, Latin America, it's a fucked up place. It's a beautiful place. The less government there is, the more organized and functional it is. You know, I've lived in real rural areas, very isolated areas in Latin America, away from the cities, and and they're run basically according to natural law. I mean, the government and the police don't really have much of a presence in a lot of those places, but they're safe and they're well organized. You see cartel people coming through, but you but other unlike Mexico and much of the rest of Latin America, the cartels aren't so integrated into the government. And if you just leave the cartel people alone and don't bother them, they don't bother you. Everything's cool, you know. And they come and they go, they pass through. And you know, the local people are the best humans I've ever met in my life. The Mayan people are the best humans I've met on this planet. I've met some wonderful people in Thailand, in Scandinavia, and France, in all over the U.S. and Canada. Um, but government's not so much. And the more control the governments have of any area in Latin America, the worse the crime, the more dangerous everything is. So I kind of think, I mean, look at Chicago. You could say the exact same thing about Chicago. You know, it's like, you know, if you took Chicago out of the equation, the murder rate in the United States would probably be cut in half. And if you took the school system in Chicago out of the equation, it would probably be cut in half. I mean, you know, Chicago is a gangster-run city. It always has been. You know, Al Capone ran that town, and it's the Rahm Emanuels of this world aren't a hell of a lot better than Al Capone. They're a little less obvious is the main thing. So so what we've got going on right now? Trump, the Trump administration. I don't know how much he has to do with it. They're basically saying they're going to kind of take over Latin America right now. They're going to start putting their energy into that. And the U.S. doesn't have a great history in Latin America. I mean, the term banana republic, I've lived in the banana republics, and they're still recovering from the crap that the U.S. government did 150 years ago. So I mean, we don't have a great track record, but I think this situation might be a little bit different right now. I mean, if this is done right, we could. This doesn't come easy for me, but the government could actually do a lot of good in this situation. And the Trump administration, who knows? I mean, I look at what's going on in Gaza and in Palestine, and it's like, what the fuck? But then I look at what they're doing, you know, other places, and they're doing actually good things. So maybe there's good people and there's bad people. But let's find out if the good people or the bad people are going to be the ones that go into Latin America. Are they going to turn it into the 19th century banana republics 2.7, or are they going to actually do some good? Who knows? I got no answer to that. I would love to see them. I would love to see something good come of this because seriously, the goddamn government, like people I respect, like Aaron Mate and people like that. They're good reporters, brilliant, but they kind of give socialist governments too much credit. I mean, I lived in probably under the best socialist government in the world, Norway. And they actually they do a lot of good things. I mean, as far as governments go, it sucks less than most of them. But it's still got serious problems, and so any ism is a problem. I mean, natural law, respecting personal sovereignty. Don't do anything that imposes on anybody else's personal sovereignty, and you really are just following the golden rule, and you really don't need much of a government or law. But wouldn't be a bad thing to clean up Latin America a little bit. Let's see what the cards have to say about all this. I would love to see. The place has so much potential. It's rich in everything, including gold and silver, which is highly important right now. And it's rich in agriculture, and it's rich in human ingenuity and compassion and community. Um, I love Latin America. I've been living here for almost 5 years. I'm hoping for a really positive reading here. Let's see what this says, and I'm hoping that whoever's behind this in the U.S. government is not going to just plunder it and you know bleed it dry like vulture capitalists, like they did in Greece before Brexit, shit like that. Grexit. That was before Brexit. So, what's going to happen with the U.S. focusing on Latin America? Victory. Good start. Overall situation, the King of Wands. If somebody in power actually has some passion behind this. The gateway, as somebody's got to make a decision. Maybe the people themselves have to make a decision. Maybe the input of the people themselves will determine the effectiveness of this. And this is built on strength. This is built on your accessing personal power, and that's what I love about Latin America is people can do shit. They're the most capable, resourceful, intelligent, thoughtful people I've ever met in my life, and over the present moment is joy from the past. Latin America hasn't really abandoned its communities and its people and its life the way we have in the rest of the West. So this is the psychological outcome. This is it's the Nine of Wands, so it's like things might get better, but it's not going to be clear it's not going to be clear to the people involved right away. And then here's the future is the Page of Wands. So the King of Wands, we've got the King of Wands is the overall situation. We've got a lot of wands here. Six of Wands is the signifier. The Nine of Wands is the psychological future, and the Page of Wands. So the fears are spiritual beginnings. And I think the biggest problem I see coming to Latin America isn't going to be what kind of leadership it has, because really once you get out of the cities, people are their own leaders. They really do own their personal sovereignty, with one exception. Should something happen to expose horrific corruption in the Catholic Church, it will hit hard, because people take their Catholicism very seriously in Latin America. And they find out, say there's like demonic ceremonies underneath the Vatican or something, it's not going to go over well. And this is the astrological energy, and it's a waiting period, so they're not going to know what's happening right away. They want to be able to put their craft to good work. Their craft, they built goddamn pyramids, these people can do shit. And the final outcome is, I think, prosperity, a new prosperity coming. And we've got the modifying the fears is loose ends. I think that I see the hardest thing go. I see some really dark things being revealed about the history of the Catholic Church, going back to Peter. That's going to hit hard, and where people really in their hearts believe what they've been told. and this is modifying the astrological energies, and this is the nine of Pentacles, and that's saying that it's going to be worth waiting for what comes. And this is modifying the desires. This is setting your ships out. This is beginning a new process. And we've got putting your perfected crafts to good use and beginning a new process. So I think they're going to do that. And this modifies the final outcome, which is the final outcome is the page or the Ace of Pentacles, and this is temperance. This is balance. So yeah, this is very good reading. It's kind of what I was hoping for. I would have been like kind of bummed if it had been, like the readings I've been getting for the Ask Clown card writing the EU lately. So yeah, it looks really good. I mean, everything's built on strength, inner strength. Everything's built on strength within themselves, and they're in a situation where they're victorious. The people are victorious, and the King of Wands. I mean, that could be. God forgive me. I don't like to say good things about leaders, but God, that could actually refer to the Trump administration, because they're kind of behind this. If they handle this well, if they go in without trying to plunder it and bleed it dry and leave it, dead carcass like a spider's lover, the male spider, they have sex, and then the female spider kills the male and sucks his blood out and leaves his body for the babies to eat when they're born. That's kind of how the U.S. has operated in Latin America in the past. So there's good reason that people are suspicious. But people also want what the U.S. has to offer. I mean, as beautiful as this place is, as beautiful as this world is, there's a lot of people that are trying to get to the United States. I mean, the United States has very desirable aspects to it. I mean, a lot of people just go to try to earn family to take care of or earn money to take care of their families at home. That's the truth. A lot of people have come in the last year that aren't like that. Victoria and I, we had to flee Guatemala during protests a few years ago, like 2.5 years ago, and we had to get to Mexico. So the buses were going one day, so we were on our way to Mexico, and they stopped our bus because they decided to start the protests up, manifestations up again. So we'd met this guy on the bus, and he was very proud of what he was doing. He was a cartel guy. He was a coyote, and he had 16 Brazilians that he told us he was getting paid $50,000 per person to transport these people from Brazil to Texas. And he said, our bus was stopped. He said, oh, no problem. We got room on our bus. He had a little, like a mini bus, a short bus, a little really nice van come in to meet him, pick them all up. So they picked us all up. They met the stall bus, and he offered us a ride to Mexico. So we took the ride to Mexico. He tried to talk us into going all the way to Texas with him, because it would have been a lot easier for him and cheaper if he'd had a couple gringos on board. That was the shit we saw on that trip. But so we went, we ended up spending a few hours barreling across northern Mexico and back roads, with 16 Brazilian, and they were like 18, maybe 18, 19, 20-year-olds. They weren't rich kids. These were not kids that parents gave $50,000 to some coyote to take them to Texas. Somebody else was paying the bill. These were a bunch of thugs. They were like gangbangers, and they were drinking and partying and whooping it up in Portuguese. I had enough Spanish that I could follow it a little bit, but watching Brazilian music videos, which really softcore porn on this giant screen TV. It was a nice bus. They fed us, gave us beer. It was a party bus. and we were like, is the driver thought he was what's his name, uh, Ayrton Senna reincarnated. 'Cause I swear to God, we had that van up on two wheels going around the mountain curves. It was a wild ride. Anyway, but this guy was trying to impress us. He apparently was hoping. Uh, it's a long story, but I won't go into it. TMI. But he tried. Let's just say he tried to get a room for us in this really beautiful hotel, and luckily we said no thanks, but no thanks. We got money for a hotel, but it was a nice hotel. We got a nice room there. Um, but anyway, it was a wild, wild adventure. And so what the fuck? Where did they? So he had 16 Brazilians. Twice the Litegua, it wasn't Litegua, but it was like a major bus line bus that was taking us up to Flores. And the one that got stopped, that we got rescued by the cartel for, off of. But the who the hell is paying 50,000? So what's that's 50,000? That's Jesus. That's that is a lot. That's like almost $1 million the cartel was earning for hauling those guys. Somebody was paying almost $1 million to haul a bunch of Brazilian thugs to Mexico on a bus illegally, and so so I'm not saying everybody that goes to the U.S. is a good person, but all the people I know personally that have gone to the U.S. have every single one of them has gone there to benefit their family. There's reasons people want to go to the U.S. The U.S. it's got problems. Every place on earth has problems. There's no Xanadu. There's no perfect place, Valhalla, but there is. Every place has got pluses and minuses, and the U.S. has a lot to offer. So you can't really blame people for wanting to go there. So what I'm saying is, back to the reading. I kind of went off on a tangent. That was quite a story, though. It was an adventure. Um, anyway, the there's a yes, the United States has done some bad things in Latin America, and I mean, not all that long ago, the revolution in the revolutions in Central America, potential to really do something good there if we did it right. If we focus on strengthening our neighbors instead of destroying them and using them as cannon fodder, we something really good could come of this. And according to this reading, it looks like something very good will come of it. So let's hope the cards are right, because I would love to see that. I would love very much to see the U.S. do something good in Latin America for a change. It would be quite a shift. Let's. But it's got possibility of happening, so let's hope for the best. And I love the people in Latin America. I love all you people watching, and I hope you're well. I'm oh, hey, comments. What's up? Hey, do you want me to like? Yeah, like, please do. Hey, I subbed and like. Thank you. Somebody's in Romania, which I kind of really dig that. I would love to. I was looking at if we ever sail across the Atlantic and end up in the Mediterranean, I wouldn't mind. I don't know how hard it is. I haven't looked into the reality of it, but I bet you the Black Sea would be a pretty fun place to go sailing. And I'd love to see places like Romania. It's great here in Romania. Well, I will maybe someday tell you what, Christina, if keep watching this and maybe see me doing a video anchored in the Black Sea somewhere, you can come and go for a ride with us on the boat. That'd be fun. Love you all. Take care, and thank you for watching. Probably see you tomorrow because shit's getting realer and realer every day. Take care. I'm going to do this without putting my thumb across the screen.